The modern award is incredibly complicated. I've had a primarily admin role in our business for the last 3.5 to 4 years, so that I can be at home with our kids, and the amount of time and effort I have to put into paperwork and complying. I spend a lot of time on the phone with Fair Work Australia, a lot of time on the line with the ATO just trying to comply. I can't pay myself for all of that time. If we had to pay someone else to do that, we probably still wouldn't be in business. I'd like it to be easier to employ people. We have a lot of casual staff being in hospitality. Some of them that have been doing in excess of 38 hours a week. We recently offered them full time because they're entitled to it, doing that much work. They actually don't want it. The staff declined it. They'd prefer the higher rate. To be in a position where we have to pay staff 30 days a year between your annual leave and sick pay to not be at work, and then I have to pay someone to replace them, it's just not sustainable.
Clients that I see, there's a lot of subcontractors out there who'd rather be employees and not subcontractors. They're in the building industry and they're forced to being a subcontractor, and it doesn't take much to get over the GST threshold of 75,000. Okay, but out of that they've got to buy materials, so they don't really earn $75,000, but they've got to collect the GST. They're not bookkeepers, they're concreters, they're carpenters, electricians. They're collecting the GST on behalf of the government, but by the time they've paid for materials and maybe a subcontractor and everything else, they're probably lucky to get $40,000, and they'll have two bills in front of them, their GST bill and a mortgage. So you know which one gets paid. The mortgage gets paid. So then the next quarter comes around and the same thing. A few years down the track, they owe a lot of money to the tax office, and the tax office chases it. It's just a mess the way the GST is set up and the way contractors are set up.
Yeah, we've stopped opening public holidays. We can't afford it at 2.5 times the rate. We often cop a lot of flack for having a different public holiday menu. Customers aren't prepared to pay more. We cop a lot of flack when we're not open because they don't like us not being there. When they have a day off, they want to enjoy sitting down having someone else make a meal, but we can't afford to do it. We break even. It's not worth the time and effort and the stress to work that much harder for no benefit.
Because if you take somebody who's, say, on $100,000 gross fees in a year, 40,000 materials, they've really only got 60,000. It's not a lot. And an extra, say, 6,000 on top of that for the GST, it's gone in a flash. It'd be easy to say, okay, it was never their money. They were collecting on behalf of the government and to put it aside. But it's pretty hard to put it aside when you've got a couple of kids and a mortgage. And this is the problem I see on a daily basis. I don't know the exact figure, but I would imagine the tax office would have a lot of outstanding debt. And that's where it would come from. It comes from people who just can't pay, who are never going to pay.